Hey y'all, welcome to Reflecting Divinity. I am so happy you are here and I'm excited to get into today's pick a card tarot and oracle reading. I've set the intention to bring through messages and guidance from spirit around what you are manifesting. So what is developing and evolving in your life, what is happening. This could include career or job information and messages. It could be studies, even relationships. It could be money messages. Really, we're looking through a spiritual lens at this 3D reality that we live in and the natural world that we utilize to live our lives. So in a nutshell, we're looking at pentacle energy. So today I have 3 piles and I'm doing something a little bit different, and I'm just going to read the brief messages for each one so that you can tap into which pile is calling to you. So for pile 1 with Elm, we have communication. Elm Deva message. I have lived beside humans for thousands of years, and I am your friend. My wood is pliable, and my leaves feed livestock. I can teach you to connect wholeheartedly with those in your life, so your relationships become stronger and more satisfying. For pile 2, we have camphor. Clarity. Camphor Deva message. I teach the importance of seeing situations clearly, not only with your mind, but also with your heart. This will enable you to look beyond the ways things appear to be in order to see how they really are, and so find peace and understanding. And last but not least, we have pile 3 with eucalyptus. Balance. Eucalyptus Deva message. I am an ancient tree, but I have survived by adapting to my environment. I can show you how to live wisely and honestly by establishing balance in your life and in your attitude to the people around you. So go ahead and take any time you need to tap into your intuition to see which pile is calling to you. Remember, my readings are timeless and are meant to find you when you need the messages. And just note that because these are general readings, just take what resonates and release the rest. So I will see you at your selected reading. Hello, pile 1. This is your reading if you chose Elm. So I have here a card from the Fairies Oracle, and we're going to save it till the end as a final message. So I do want to go ahead and start with tarot cards. So I'm going to go ahead and pull you a few to see what is developing in your life in the near future. Now, I will say nothing is set in stone. I do not believe that futures are set in stone, and I believe that they can be changed as they are dependent on the present energy. What is manifesting? What is developing? Okay, I had one more card flip over, so we have the Knave of Pentacles, we have the Two of Chalices, and we have the Ace of Swords. All right, so pile one, and looking at these cards and knowing that we have the message of communication with the elm, I am being drawn to this sense of a progression in something, that there is this development energy. With the Knave of Pentacles, the Page of Pentacles, I am getting the sense of study, and that is often the case with pages, that there is inspired commitment to a new idea to develop in, to really dive deep, and being in maybe the early stages of this. The sense I'm getting is that over the next year or so, there is a deepening of your understanding of what you want out of life. And this is going to open up more doors for you, pile one. What's really making me connect to that idea of communication is here with the Two of Chalices, we have that connection, we have conversation in this depiction of the Two of Cups. We have a real sense of a flow between people. It reminds me of what I know of Gemini energy, and it feels like there are not only sparks flying here, but there's ideas flowing, and there's a building up between you and another on these ideas. And maybe this is something that you are realizing as you're diving in and really focused on being in abundance, especially with it being pentacles here, that you're really looking for something solid in your life. And maybe this does have to do with a relationship. You're looking for a stable, foundational relationship, but it could also be that you're looking for that generally, maybe in a career or something. But what could develop for you is a way of you bringing this into your reality is through communication. It is through conversation. It is through contracts and agreements with others. I feel like maybe this helps you to think, it helps you to process your ideas and get some clarity in working with another person or maybe other people. But I am feeling like there's on one hand this sense that communication helps you, but you could also be a little bit more introverted and you have to find the right person. And so I feel like this is coming in for many of you, that you'll find that right person to develop with, that there's this kind of mutual back and forth of information, and this is going to spark something really fresh, because it does seem like you're starting out with what you know and you're diving into that at first, but this other energy that's coming in over the next year is going to open up new doors. And of course, with the Ace of Swords and communication, this is a new idea. I feel like it gets put out there. That's the sense that I'm getting, is that it gets put out there to more people, like a wider audience. And this is meant to happen in this way. There is that gradual buildup, because again, I feel like there has to be that firm foundation, that study, that really integrating it into your life and finding that right connection coming into your life to help you develop this. So you could be interested in a relationship that really you connect with this other person through your minds, through your understanding of each other, through your different perspectives or your similar perspectives. I feel like you are able to appreciate that in another person. And that's where you really feel that love, is in that conversation, in that questioning, and like picking someone else's brain is kind of the phrase that's coming to mind. And there's a lot of gold here, pile 1. And whether this is maybe a business partner, maybe it's not necessarily love related, but it could be business related too. It could be a shared passion that opens up in a conversation with someone, and you go from maybe being interested and really studying, diving in, but not necessarily knowing how to move forward with something, to hashing it out and then able to like really pick up that sword and present it in a way. I mean, it's like giving birth here is kind of the sense. You're giving birth to something. I don't know why this is coming up, but I feel like there's a lot you want to do. And I feel like this other person with the 2 of Cups is going to help you get kind of organized and how to move forward and at the right time. Like there's that kind of back and forth energy that's also going to help you kind of regulate that and really get concentrated in what needs to come through first. And again, like this is a general time frame that I'm feeling, that I'm kind of setting the intention for, that this is for the next year, but it could vary for each person. So don't get hung up on that. Let me see what else is coming to me. You know, I feel like speaking could be something that you get into. Maybe it's public speaking. Maybe it's writing or creating videos, but the thing is, what's always coming through is your voice. It is your ideas. It is how you explain things. So you could even want to be a teacher of some sort. But I do feel like this connection to another person is really going to boost this. It could also be that just this connection with another person really gives you a clear understanding of what it is you want. Like knowing that you have a fresh start and you start to understand yourself in a way that you never maybe were able to understand yourself in that way before, if that makes sense. Like maybe this other person is able to mirror back to you something that you couldn't see in yourself, and so then you can see your like true authentic nature. They appreciate you for your authenticity, and that maybe you go from maybe feeling like you have to try really hard in that physical way, like if I can describe it, like pentacle energy being denser. Here there's a sense, there's more ease, there's more flow, there's that flowing connection, and then that lightness of the air. So if you can understand kind of the gist of what I'm saying, instead of having to conform to a way of who you are, maybe set by other people or standards, this connection opens you up to really be you and be free in that. I hope that made some sort of sense. I'm just pulling from the Angels and Ancestors Oracle, and I had one fly out. So here we have spring, see your seeds grow. So yeah, like with that Knave of Pentacles energy, this is you planting the seeds and then watching it blossom like that elm that then feeds the livestock. Like the Deva message said, you are planting that now, and then you're gonna see how far it develops with this Ace of Swords. This card wants to come out. And we have Guardian Angel, you are not alone. So yeah, for some of you with this Two of Cups being here, it could feel like you've been alone for a while and that you've had to do things on your own without that ability to have that communication with another person who really understands where you're coming from or wants to understand where you're coming from. Because I feel like that's such a big part of it, is that they don't even have to necessarily agree with your perspective of things, but they respect it. And so this Two of Cups really feels like a healthy connection that will empower you and give you clarity and comfort as you move forward, and you feel like what you start here with the Knave of Pentacles is safe for you to grab onto and like pick up and move forward with. And to know that especially with a white feather, that this could mean that your guides, your angels, if you're open to that, are trying to communicate with you. And so there could be some signs and synchronicities that are coming in, and you just want to be open, be aware of maybe what's coming in, because since you are really powerful in your mind and in your communication with others, in your connection with others, it feels like your crown, your third eye are very open, as well as your throat. And so that is probably the way that Spirit is dropping in messages to you, pile one. Maybe some of you are going to like blog, like there's some type of sense there, especially with that Knave of Pentacles having the laptop. So from the Herbiary deck, we have You Are Sacred. We have Tulsi. So with this message, I felt called to look in the book, and I just want to read what was standing out to me. Come home to yourself. Tulsi asks you to come home to yourself. We often look externally for the sacred while treating our own selves, our bodies, our inner knowings, our spirits, like so much flotsam on life's current. Holy Basil knows that coming home to yourself is not something you do once, but a practice to be repeated over and over. Her presence is your reminder. Come home. And that is sort of the sense of what I was feeling with you and this other connection in the Two of Chalices, that they are mirroring back to you so that you can finally see that and know it and begin to really trust it and move forward in your understanding of yourself that isn't defined by anybody else. And so I feel like that's what Spirit is saying, is that you are planting those seeds now with your intentions, and that if you are looking to manifest this new connection and a new sense of self, to keep this in mind, that ultimately you must be able to see your divine nature, your sacred identity, that you are this holy being as well, and to not discount that, pile one. And that you are worthy of these connections, whether to Spirit or other people, to an audience even. It really feels like you have something important to say. And this card just flew out. I'm pulling from the Bestiary deck. So here we have appreciate the process, cow and bull. So yeah, with appreciate the process, it can be that we get frustrated along the way with all that is happening and those ups and downs. But as long as you keep coming back to yourself and your sense of who you are and having that intention of really discovering that and having that authentic connection to other people, that's what's important in this journey. That the process, you don't have to worry about it. That just go with the flow there and know that other people will see you for who you are as you are putting yourself out there in this new way, in these new connections. That the seeds you're planting are going to grow tall and then nourish others. That you are not alone in this process, that everything you have gone through at this point has led you to this divine self that you are. And so we had a card from the crystallary deck fall out, and we have transmutation. We have black tourmaline, and so yeah, with transmutation, there's always that idea that one element can shift into another, that you can create something new from what is being released. So there could be this sense of shedding or of breaking free from something that has been holding you back. Like with spring, see your seeds grow. I'm seeing that seed breaking open and that new form growing out. So there is this sense of breaking open as you begin to see who you really are and what you stand for, what you want to share with the world. Because I feel like this is so much about sharing your voice in some way. So this could be teaching, this could be journalism, it could be, I feel like you have this beautiful mind that you can really investigate things. You can really ask questions. You can discuss things in a way that other people can understand and digest. And it's not just that, because you have this, your own unique voice, your own spin on it. And like with transmutation here, we have the dandelion, and again, I'm seeing these seeds like spreading. And I feel like this is what you're being called to do, that you're being called to share, to spread messages in some way. Maybe you want to write, but there is this key component of separating yourself from how others see you and how that you've been told you are, to realize that you are this sacred being, and that there is this process of shedding and getting rid of what isn't serving you, reclaiming certain elements and building it up with the help of someone else here that can show that back to you, that they don't project their interpretation of you onto you, but they truly just allow you to discover that on your own and really reclaim it and realize that you are meant to share what you've been developing, what you've been growing within through your voice. So pile one, before I get too rambling on too long, let's go ahead and look at your fairies oracle card. Okay, so here we have Unity, and I'm gonna go ahead and look it up here in the book. Unity, union, mystical experience, spiritual home. When this card comes up in a reading, it is asking us to remember the mystical concept that we are all one, unified in a holistic universe. It reminds us to look at the needs and goals we have in common with others and to seek cooperation and community action rather than attempting to do everything on our own. To achieve our goals, we need the active cooperation of others, and to get that cooperation, we must be helpful to them and willing to work with their ideas as well as our own. It suggests that we think of things in terms of equal partnerships rather than in lines of hierarchical authority. Unity also tells us that we have much to gain by remembering our own wholeness. Resolution of inner conflict is often necessary before we move ahead. It is important at this time that we work toward cooperation and reconciliation within and without. Seek the highest good of all involved and not merely your idea of highest good. Ask for the divine energy of unity to permeate and guide you. Wow, so yeah, pile one. I mean, that has a lot to do with communication, obviously, and sharing ideas and building off of those and really being able to take some action here. I feel like that is confirming for you that you have this voice to share with others. This could feel like a leadership position in some way, but it's reminding you that this is natural for you. This is where you are at home in this connection with others, and that you can still be in your own power while connecting with other people, that you don't have to take on necessarily what other people tell you, but you can work with it. You can work with it, and I feel like in some way you can help others with their lives. Like maybe you can coach people in some way to help them resolve conflict within themselves, because you're going through this process of resolving some of that in your own life and transmuting it and reclaiming your power in that way. Well, pile one, I hope this reading was helpful for you. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more from me, then hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. I wish you all the best and give you my love. Until next time, bye, pile one. Hello, pile two. If you chose camphor as your card, this is your reading. Now I have the Fairies Oracle card here that will leave as the final message for your reading. But we'll go ahead and start with some tarot cards. And we just want to get some messages about what's manifesting for you, what's developing for you over the next year, or whatever feels right to you. The future is not set in stone, but this is just energetically what is kind of being projected out from the current energies, so you can decide what you want to stick with and what you don't. Okay, that card wants to come out too, so let's see what we've got. Okay. So pile two, we've got the Eight of Chalices, we've got the Two of Wands, and we've got the Seven of Pentacles. Okay, so the first message I'm getting right now is related to the Eight of Chalices. And with a message of clarity coming in from the Camphor Deva message, with the Eight of Chalices, there is this pull to get a better understanding of what it is that you want. So maybe this is where you're coming from and you're wondering, what do I want? because this is acceptable, but it's not what I believe is the best for me. So it looks like you're taking on potentially some type of study or some type of journey, like maybe, in the traditional sense of the Eight of Cups, there's this journey where you leave behind something to find a new path. And so maybe this resonates for some of you, that you are taking on a new course in some way, whether that's literal in like a sense of a program or study. Maybe it's leaving some sort of job behind, or something that you used to be passionate about, something that used to fulfill you, that just no longer really gets that spark going. You don't feel that passion anymore for it, like that has shifted for you. And so there's this idea with the Two of Wands that you're really looking for something that sparks your interest, that gives you that connection to your own power. It feels a bit like maybe with the Eight of Cups, you're not feeling appreciated in whatever situation that you're in. And so here it looks like there's some taking action in some way to go after what it is you do want, what is calling you, what is kind of tugging at you. And again, I'm seeing this connection here with the imagery, with the smoke and the cleansing, with this sort of fiery energy here, and connecting to your solar plexus and getting to your source of your own power to really determine where it is that you feel that inspiration, that you feel that connection to yourself in some way, like what makes you feel fulfilled. And so this really does feel like discovery, like you're doing some research, you're making some plans. And so for the next few months or so into the next year, you are really allowing yourself the space and the energy to do this, to dive in, to try new things. If there's something that is there in the back of your mind that you are sort of hesitant to acknowledge, I feel like, especially with these little, I don't know what they are, sprites or fairies, that they're floating around here behind her, and it's almost like they want to get her attention. And so I feel like that could be happening to you. And so pile 2, maybe there is something here that you haven't acknowledged that Spirit is wanting to point out to you about your perspective of even yourself, that you can pursue what it is you are passionate about, to encourage you to have that confidence that it will work out, that if your heart is set on something, to not stick with what your heart isn't set on. That you have so much more to discover and learn and create. With that wand energy, there's so much more for you to create. And so Spirit is telling you, like, this is here for you if you go ahead and take the time to invest in it. With that Seven of Pentacles, take the time to nourish yourself, to allow yourself to grow. And that I'm getting that message of to allow yourself some patience as you move through this, because there is sometimes rocky times when we're learning something new and we're struggling, and we know that we're meant to do this, but sometimes it doesn't feel like it's showing up the way it should. And so Spirit's saying, just trust it, have patience with it, because you can't rush this. And in the end, you don't want to rush it. There is no need to rush it. You can take the time to really practice and be in the energy of this new inspiration, whatever it is. I feel like this is probably connected to your sense of what it is you want to do in the world, how you want to show up. I feel like it's creative and it's nourishing to you. And it feels like you're going from a situation where it feels more dry, it feels more kind of stale and less interesting, maybe more like a 9-to-5 situation in some way. And this would be a really kind of different path in other people's eyes, and that's what's exciting to you about it. I feel like you're someone who wants excitement and adventure on one hand, but then you feel like a little bit confused about it because you feel like the messages coming in don't really support that. And so this is about you getting clarity on what's you and what's not you. And I feel like this comes up a lot of the time in my messages, but it's really important for people who are empaths or are intuitive and are picking up on so much. We just integrate so easily what isn't ours. So I really feel like Spirit is saying to take some time for yourself here to get clear on what it is you want. And I feel like you kind of know. Again, it's like that energy of like there's something there in the back of your mind, and it's kind of that nagging sense, like it's just there kind of teasing your mind, and something is maybe has been holding you back, but it feels like what you're manifesting is some time to actually get clear on this and to give it a chance, to give yourself a chance. So I'm just pulling a couple cards from the Angels and Ancestors Oracle, and this card just flipped over and tried to fly out. Okay, so we have Traveler moving a new direction. I mean, yeah, 8 of Cups. And look at the connection with the red. So it's almost like, yeah, with red, you think of passion, you think of fiery energy, you think about what you love, and that sense of red, that connection, that driving force to move you in a new direction toward what you want. And then this is the one that tried to fly out. We have Fire Guardian, ignite your passion. So you are supported in this pile too, that there is this passion here, that you're meant to go and explore this, whatever this is. I feel like you're learning. I kind of get this sense that maybe you have this youthful energy, and I'm getting the messages like other people look at you, because maybe in some cases you actually maybe aren't, a youth. You're maybe not necessarily a young adult or something like that, but you have this energy about you, and other people, maybe your age, feel a lot older to you, and they feel like you have this spirit about you that they maybe can't relate to completely, that you are this kind of free spirit, that you have this youthful energy where you are excited, you're curious about the world, and in some ways it feels like, this is beat down in us, that this isn't allowed in us. And as I'm saying that and looking at the herbiary deck, we have forbidden fruit, we have apple. So here's knowledge, right? With the idea of the forbidden fruit, there is knowledge here. There is more to discover, new ways of seeing things. And also, again, like with the idea of you're kind of going in a direction that other people wouldn't go, and there could be that sense of like judgment there because it's like taboo, or it's stigmatized, or it's stereotyped in some way as like not being acceptable in society. And so that it feels forbidden. It feels like forbidden to you, but that's what's enticing about it, because there's more for you to discover there. And this is about you getting that clarity within yourself. This one's spinning. Grab it. So we have make manifest, beaver. Yeah. there is something here being built. Oh, and that's so cute. It's like a little altar within the beaver dam. And that's interesting because here with this depiction of the Two of Wands, there is that sense of like picking up the athame, picking up the wand in kind of a ritual sense. So maybe that appeals to some of you, pile 2, that you have this ability to work with the elements, to manifest what it is you want, to make things happen, to build things, to create, but you also have that connection to spirit to where you can really ask, that you can really, in the spiritual sense, connect to those energies, connect to your guides, to help just set that intention and to keep that connection and not let the confusion get to you and kind of steer you off path. And I feel like that confusion comes from outside of you. It comes from the people around you, or just, society. Those messages that are drilled into us every day. And we may not even realize it, but it's just in the messaging of what's expected of us. And anyway, it feels like you just need to keep coming back to yourself, coming back to your connection to your higher self. Spirit will help you with this, but this is ultimately just getting connected to you, getting back into your center, to your solar plexus, and coming from that perspective, because that's where your true power is, and that's who you are, pile 2. You're this like fiery, energetic being, and you're not meant to be like in a cubicle. And that's because the energy that I'm getting from the 8 of Cups there. Okay, so we have, for the crystallary card, we have you only more so, Ruby. And so this card is definitely about amplifying who it is that you are, really getting into the heart. And I feel that here, again, with the fiery energy and what you're passionate about, what you're inspired by. Like, this is what you're meant to do. Pile 2 is like follow your heart, to travel the world, to really, I feel like there's some sense of like being able to indulge, and that feels like it's been frowned upon for you, but really like you're meant to enjoy life. And so Spirit's encouraging you to do so, that there's no need to hold yourself back from enjoying the life that you want, from going after the life that you want. So there's some discovery here, and I think that's the exciting part, is that it doesn't need to be nailed down for you, pile 2, because you have this beautiful kind of wanderer energy, and this is exciting rather than terrifying. Or at least I hope that you can start to connect to that if you are feeling scared to take this step, that you're going to be supported in this, that as you stay true to yourself and you commit to yourself, you really can't go wrong. Like there is no, failure or anything here, because this is all learning and discovery. And it's like each new place, you get a new message, you get a new understanding to move on to the next one. Like there's always more to uncover. Like this truly is your journey, and you hold the map. This feels like a big year for you, or however long it feels for you that's right for you. Take that. But this feels like really a time of growth and development, and I almost feel like you're going to feel like a completely different person, but it's because it's going to be more you. With Ruby, again, it's more you. Okay, so this is the final message. We have Fairies of the Future. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the book because I want to read the message. Fairies of the Future, be here now. Guidance moving forward. Okay, so the author here is being quoted. This is Brian Froud. Brian writes, "These are the fairies of a bright future and are essential companions on any journey. When these fairies appear, it is time to consider where we have been and where we wish to go. There are many opportunities, many potentials, but we must choose a path and then take realistic, practical steps to bring the desired future into being. This is not a time to wait for things to come to us, but to step forward boldly to meet them. We may do this alone if we wish, or in the company of those who share our goals and dreams." Wow, pile 2. Yeah, you're meant to move forward. You're meant to go after this, to choose your path here and not be afraid to journey into this. That you're going to be supported here, and this is about what you wish and what you hope for, and that you are the creator of your life, and to find people who believe that too. Like this said, you could do this alone, you could do this with other people, but if you're looking for people to help you along the way, to just be discerning about who it is that you allow in to help build this into your life, to keep coming back to your center here with like your truth and what it is you want, what you're passionate about, what inspires you. Again, I'm just reiterating to just keep coming back to you, because this is about you. I feel like in some ways it's felt like you've been living for other people, and it's time to discover what it is you want and to kind of stop ignoring that part of you. So, pile 2, I hope this reading was helpful for you. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more readings from me, then please hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. And I wish you all the best. I give you my love. But until next time, bye, pile 2. Hello, pile 3. If you chose the eucalyptus, this is your reading. Now I have a fairies oracle card here, but we'll save it for the final message. And I want to go ahead and get started by pulling some tarot cards. So we're asking Spirit what you're manifesting as far as goals or career, relationships. Really that like pentacle energy of what you're building in your life, what you're growing. And I'm holding the intention for about a year ahead, but this could be dependent on what you feel. So just take what resonates. Okay, we had one fly out. Just grab it. And I just want one more. Okay. So we have the 7 of Wands. We have the Ace of Chalices, and we have the Hanged Man. Okay. So first thing I'm noticing is with that eucalyptus message that we got was about balance. And so with the Hanged Man, I am also getting that sense of balance, especially in this depiction of the Hanged Man. And so as I'm looking here between the Hanged Man and this depiction of the 7 of Wands, I am getting that sense of you having leadership potential, that you maybe are a leader in some way, that you have people who look up to you in some way that kind of, I'm almost getting the sense of like they expect you to have the answers. And this feels like, in whatever situation this is, maybe this is at work, maybe this is in your family life, but this feels like you're kind of in some way either put on a pedestal, and it's not that you're undeserving of that. I feel like you are. I feel like you have that ability. But in doing so, there is that, with the Seven of Wands, there's that sense of demanding. And so maybe people are really demanding of you. And pile 3, this is something that you need to consider with that balance. Message that maybe there's too much being expected of you or taken from you or put onto you in some way with the Seven of Wands, that you are fully capable of being this leader, but it's almost too much for you in some way. And I feel like with the Ace of Chalices here, there is some need to get back to yourself in self-care, in connecting to your heart. It almost feels like in some way you could be shut down. And I feel like this is maybe where you're coming from right now, and you are wanting to shift and change some of this. And so Spirit wants to introduce you to maybe a new way of doing things, to take some time for your own healing. And especially with the Hanged Man there's a sense of a need to take a pause, to see things from a new perspective, and to give yourself some healing. Like with that yoga pose, there is some quieting down, there's some kind of pulling away from this energy and finding some balance, that you need to bring in some self-care. I feel like that saying, burning the candle of both ends, might apply to you, pile 3. I almost feel like you do everything. Like, I'm wondering what this is, but it's almost like that idea that there's that person in the family who's kind of expected to be responsible for everything, for everyone else's schedules, for everyone else's meals, for everyone else's functioning even. And this is exhausting. I feel like there could be some exhaustion here. And so Spirit's like, yeah, new balance is coming in. So as I'm pulling, this is from the Bestiary deck. So we have Slide into Joy, River Otter. And with this card, it's all about finding joy, finding happiness, finding ease, finding playfulness, being in that energy. And it feels like, coming from the Seven of Wands, you have not been able to do this for yourself. And again, I'm seeing a connection with water. So you could need to spend some time in the water, connect, either take a bath, or if you can swim, or go out to see water around you, maybe a river or lake or something. There's some healing here, as well as just a connection to that flow, because it feels like you're coming from a place of where you've had to be very rigid and defensive, and there's tension and it's exhaustion, and you need some time away from that. So here we have a herbiary card. So we have Defying Gravity, reishi. So reishi mushrooms. I'm immediately making a connection between Defying Gravity and the Hanged Man. It almost feels like, on one sense, it's like, this isn't possible. How can I let go of this? This will all fall apart. This will all crumble. But I feel like Spirit's saying, no, that's not the case. And it's time to allow yourself this. I'm going to go ahead and just read a little bit from the book for reishi. Okay, so there's a few things standing out to me. So reishi mushroom is a Yoda of the plant world, helping you assimilate life's experiences and turn them into wisdom. The Taoists teach that reishi can show you where your power lies, which some might call your destiny. Reishi is not some soft, clinging mushroom, but instead a strong, structured, gravity-defying shelf. She asks no less from you. How can you defy anything keeping you from finding meaning, purpose, and health? Like all the best teachers, Reishi points to the path and lets you walk it, taking your lumps and bumps along the way. She doesn't want you to rely on her strength. She wants you to find your own. But if you're willing to do the work, Reishi will help you transform from the inside out. To find your path and step in your own power, you need to release whatever is no longer serving your highest good. If your home or workspace is full of stuff, call in Reishi energy and move along what you no longer need. Clutter, whether material or emotional, blocks you from stepping into your true work. That message around clutter, the first thing I'm feeling is there's also cluttered energy, not just things potentially. So this could be different depending on who is watching, but for some of you this could be manifest in the space around you, and that could be really interfering with your energy and your ability to relax, your ability to heal. But if this is also in the energy, that would be what the water would really help, is to clarify and clear out, to wash away, to cleanse what isn't serving you, and to bring in the good, to bring in the joy again, to bring in some of that ease so that there is more balance here. Pile 3. It feels like in some way you're being called to step back a little bit, to maybe not take on so much in your life as far as responsibilities and scheduling. The sense I'm getting is like you need a break, so maybe you need a vacation. Maybe you haven't been able to have a vacation or something like that to really just get back to yourself. It feels like you've just accumulated all this stuff that's being carried with you, and it's really messing with your energy. So we have a different kind of love, rose quartz. Yeah, so like with Reishi and finding your own strength, I'm connecting this to the strength card. And your strength, when it's coming from a place of the 7 of Wands, it starts to feel like claustrophobic, like it's coming in from all around you and it's pushing and pushing on you. But with coming from your sense of your own power and your own kind of self-love, self-care, because if you can be in that energy of putting yourself forward in this way and filling yourself up and coming from that power, that just is so much more powerful and can push out that other energy. And so I feel like Spirit's saying to get into that space, to start to allow that in, to clear out what's cluttering you, and then bring in more health and healing and energy, more peace and calm, more time for yourself. And that by doing this for yourself, you're also helping others. So we had one fall out. We have Arrow, surround yourself with protective energy. Yeah, like that sense of like all those energies and things coming and pushing onto you and getting into your space and cluttering up your energy. That's what Spirit is kind of saying, like take the time, cleanse that out, put that barrier out there. And I feel like for you, this could be very much in your physical life. You just need to almost sit some people down and be like, look, this can't keep happening. I can't keep going like this. I'm going to need these things from you. And I almost feel like you need to be fairly specific, because you have that leadership quality. So I feel like these people will listen to you, pile 3. And if you approach it in that very structured way, I almost feel like that's you saying, hey, I need this. I need some space of my own. But this could also just be because, you know, as people who are spiritual, we're a little more open and we feel energies more. So this could be a reminder to do some of that spiritual cleansing, to release some maybe emotions that are ours that we no longer need, or maybe that aren't ours and then we're carrying them and they're kind of cluttering up and getting in the way of being us. Okay, so we have animal guardian, trust your instincts. Yeah, so with this, I'm just really feeling you trusting this part of yourself. I feel like you know you need this and you've just been putting it off, but there's now Spirit saying like this is going to be the perfect time for you to get back to you. And maybe you need to get back to nature as well, to spend some time with animals, with that being the animal guardian. The animals won't take your energy in the same way that maybe other people can and do. And that this is perfectly natural. And maybe the way you've been going, it just isn't sustainable. And so what animals here are coming in to show you is how you can be more in alignment with nature. And the message I'm getting is around how seasons change and how some animals have to go into hibernation, right? They have to build up their stores of energy to survive in a time of, respite and doing less. And I feel like that's what Spirit is saying here, that in whatever way, like, you need to do this. And it feels like you don't need to worry, like with that 7 of Wands, whether this is like a job. I feel like it's a job or career position, but I could also see it as being like a position in the family and kind of just having a lot of expectations. But whichever one, or if there's another kind of situation that you're feeling this is regarding, just know that it's not going to slip away from you. It's not going to crumble, right? With the defying gravity, like this path for you to take this self-care, it's just a pause. It's not going to change and move on from you, if that makes sense. Like you're not going to get like left behind in some way. Maybe that's the energy I'm feeling. And that when you come back, whatever this is that you're kind of putting on pause a little bit, you're going to enjoy it more. That it's going to be a little more flowing, a little easier, pile 3. I feel like you're heading into a time of much more flow and ease, and this is necessary for you. This is a pause, but it's restoring you, pile 3. It's restoring you and getting you more in touch with yourself so that you can come back stronger, because I do feel like with that 7 of Wands, you are on your way up in some way, and you've got to have the energy for that, pile 3. So let's go ahead and look at your Fairy Oracle card. And I'm going to read from the book. Okay, so we have Losgana, Sunken Treasure, Discovery of Self, Adventure. And I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Losgana tells us to pay attention to our dreams, to listen to the murmur of the waters, to note the patterns in the damp, fallen leaves, to listen for the distant, high sounds of angelic music among the stars. She also suggests soothing baths, hot tubs, jacuzzis, trips to the nearest spa or hot springs, and dips in the handiest sea, pond, or mountain lake. Mud baths also help us quiet down and become strong enough to explore her territory, which is earth and the waters, from the depths to the heights. As important as it is to explore the inner realms, she tells us that exploration of the outer realms is also vital. She suggests that we go places we have never been, try things we have never done, take classes in subjects we always meant to study someday, maybe even learn a language and see where that takes us. Explore widely and deeply in our own world so that we develop the adventurousness of our spirits. It almost goes without saying that she recommends exploring fairy. She also suggests kissing any metaphorical or actual frogs you encounter to test for princes or princesses, but I don't know how seriously you want to take that suggestion. So yeah, this is exactly right. Like, there's this pull for you to take the time to be in your own energy, to really enjoy yourself, to have some relaxation and self-care, to find peace, to pause, to vacation, to have some fun, and that this is a loving thing to do, and that this will boost your energy and really boost your spirit, your inner spirit. Even when you come back to what it is that you're doing, it's bringing more balance into you. And you can see this in nature as you go out into nature. I mean, I always laugh because I am always surprised that Spirit brings through these messages and really rounds it out. And I almost can't believe it every time. I doubt it and I wonder, how is this going to come together? I don't know, Spirit, but here it is. So I'm still learning to trust the messages that Spirit is bringing through. And I hope that you are beginning to trust these intuitive pulls, these spiritual messages, the guidance that's coming in for you. And I hope that this was helpful to you, Pile 3. If you liked this reading, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more from me, then hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. And I wish you all the best. I give you my love. But until next time, bye, Pile 3.